Hey Marco,
Hello.
good evening, man. How's it going?
Good, good.
Good. Okay, so I was excited to find out that you got your first contract from Facebook,
Mm-hmm.
your very first one, right?
My very first one.
That's amazing, bro. And you've been in the space for how long again? It's like a year, right? Doing agent outreach mostly.
Yeah, so we've been doing it since September of 2022. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, primarily agent outreach, not a lot of direct to seller.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Now that you're doing direct to seller, like what has been your experience so far with the, I don't know, lead motivation, like conversations you've had? Like, could you tell me a little bit more about that real quick?
Yeah, with direct to seller, I mean, it's the most challenging part is that the leads that we get, they all come with their different types of situations, motivations, and their goals in mind. And so the biggest challenge right now is trying to fit ourselves to those leads and make ourselves
Mhm.
valuable to them. And so we were finally able to, get a lead that we could provide some decent value to, and we were able to communicate that to him, and he saw
Mhm.
what we could do for him, and he trusted us enough to go under contract.
Nice. So basically, you're getting a bunch of leads with a lot of motivation,
Mhm.
and then the main challenge you're having is, I mean, like getting ready to provide multiple solutions to those to like different sorts of leads, right?
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay. Can you walk me more? Wait, can you walk me through that one lead? Like, how did the conversation started? How did it go?
So the lead was actually handled by one of my acquisition specialists. His
Mhm.
name's
Okay.
Andy. But the way it happened is we got the lead in. I actually have it here, but we got the lead in on February 6th at like 10:41 p.m. It was like night. It was pretty late already, and we actually didn't call him till the following day.
Mhm.
We called him multiple times. He ended up picking up. And then after that first call, we just kind of introduced ourselves. And just based off the first call, I mean, and looking at the property, we knew that some, acquisition strategies like cash probably weren't going to work for the situation. So we immediately kind of thought creative. And so we just kind of did build more rapport. It wasn't, we didn't start really talking about the offer till about the third call.
Mhm.
Um, and then it wasn't until about, the fifth call that we really, we got them under contract and we actually signed the contract
Wow.
on the phone. So it's pretty cool.
Wh- what an awesome follow-up game. 5 calls, man.
Yeah, it was pretty close to it. I mean, we
Uh-huh.
really after the first because we got the lead last week. After the first like intro two calls, it was, we were able to do enough to where he was reaching out to us quite consistently.
Mhm.
So he made the follow-up pretty easy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it was a good first impression. You guys build trust. You guys kind of like laid out what a big challenge was gonna be to help him,
Hmm.
and then that facilitated the follow-up process.
Hmm.
So it wasn't like he was ghosting or anything. It was a fairly smooth process.
Yeah, it was evident that he was serious about selling his house, and he
Mhm.
was serious about wanting an offer. And so I think he saw that we were serious too because we were timely, and we were able to get him an offer within like 2 days. And that's because he was able to, he worked with us to be able to give him that offer. But yeah, he
So
sent us
it was 5 calls within how many days,
with it was yesterday, so from the 6th to the 14th to the 13th,
bro?
the 7th.
That's a go getter attitude. I love that. And who
Yeah.
was doing the follow up mostly? Your acquisitions person, like Andy?
Yeah, he handled the whole thing. He called them. There was even like a language barrier too.
Hmm.
So it was great. Yeah, he handled it the whole thing, and then once we were able to like qualify, push to analyze, run numbers really quick, and then push it back to offer, then that's when we were able to start like talking, scenarios, and
Hmm.
yeah, it was pretty nice. It was cool.
Nice. Congratulations, man. And basically, what was the motivation of the seller? Like, did he have some sort of like situation that made him sell? Like, or what was it? What was going on?
Yeah, so he moved to Spring for a job, and
Mm-hmm.
I think he works in like oil and gas. And so he was up there in Spring, got a new house, and now he's relocating for another job. And so that's really what he's just trying to get ahead of it. He didn't want to go on market because he just doesn't
Mm-hmm.
have a ton of equity. And it's funny because he actually called us and he was like, on the first call, he told us that he planned on putting $10,000 towards the paying down the principal of his loan. And at this point, we had just done an intro and we had kind of gotten to know him a little bit. And he mentioned this, and we hadn't said anything about creative or sub two or anything. So we really didn't advise him not to do that. We just like, okay, well, that's interesting. And then we moved. The next day we called him. We're like, don't do that. He's like, well, I already did it. And so we're like, damn, like it only benefits us that you pay down the principal. It doesn't really do anything for you because we're trying to purchase your home subject to. And
Okay.
so we tried to get his money back, right? Because sometimes the banks will reverse it, but it was after 24 hours, and so they didn't allow him to give his money back, but we were able to give him, what he put back, I guess, what he put down back.
Something. He
Yeah.
got something back.
Oh yeah, he's getting something back.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh,
And hey, that's very interesting. Do you think that after you guys did that, like there was more trust being built or something? Or
um, yeah, I think it definitely helped because the other thing too is like we knew that we wanted to like we knew that from analyzing the home, we knew that it would work for us as a subject to and a wrap. But he had indicated like in the first two calls that he was planning on moving. And so one big thing that we wanted to make sure is that he wasn't going to be buying a house or anything, soon after the subject to, because that could maybe affect him and prevent him from doing that. And so that was actually one of the things that like he was ready to sign on the subject to a few days before we actually got him signed. But we told him like, hey, we're actually not super confident and sure that this is the best way for you to sell your house to us because you said that you were going to buy another house. And so we walked him through like a lease option executory contract and said this might actually be a better way if you plan on buying within 6 months. That way it's less headache for you when you go and approve for that loan. And so we walked
mm,
him through all these things. And I think when we did that and the questions we were bringing up to him, that's what made him seem that like, hey, these people actually care and they're not just gonna, they don't care
bro,
what, yeah, it was pretty
that's
cool.
that's that's a huge differentiator you guys have there. I'm so excited. I mean, you're right. Like you're thinking about a win-win scenario. What is your guys' mindset in building relationships long term that can benefit you guys not only one-time transaction, but later in the future? You know what I'm saying? Like potential referrals from this guy, for example.
Mhm.
What is your philosophy on this, guys?
I mean, our whole company is like built on relationships.
Okay.
Since we started in September of 2022, like for the full first year, we only did agent outreach on market because it was free, and because agents, if we make meaningful relationships with agents, they're going to bring us multiple properties, right? So it was something that like was at the forefront of everything we did. And so when we went over to direct to seller, it was just really easy. I mean, we don't really see it as like our main goal isn't to build a relationship with a seller for the purposes of referrals. It's just so that it makes the transaction easier, right? It
And
makes the probability of getting a good contract that means something is higher. And great, if they send us a referral later down the line, then awesome. But we understand that the likelihood of it happening is not high, right? We're okay with that, but it doesn't change how we approach the seller.
okay. At the very least, try to get a testimonial from that person.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah,
Yeah. I
1,000%.
mean, and try to get like a short version, maybe 20 to 40 seconds, and we can at least less than a minute. I know people talk a lot. So at least less than a minute. And if we need to make some additions or some edits or something, we can do it because
Mhm.
we can run ads with that testimonial.
Yeah, right.
Your very first, is this your very first direct to seller
No, this isn't our very first direct to seller, but it is our very first like contract with Hesel with you guys. So
with Hesel? And
yeah.
that's great because like you now the way I see it, you guys understand now how you guys can add value, how you guys can add value to these people, potentially get contracts. And now I'm guessing in your mind is more clear how you guys can scale to multiple contracts. You know what I'm saying?
No, 100%. And I mean, the other thing that we've learned, it's like you need, I don't know, we almost need to tailor our acquisition strategies to Hessel and the leads that we get.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because I mean, and I kind of mentioned this a little while ago. I said, like we get these leads, and the hardest challenge has been how do we provide value to these leads?
Mm-hmm.
And there is always value to be added, but it's like, are we capable of adding that value ourselves? And that's where we broaden our acquisition strategies to like Novation. That's probably more applicable to some of these leads. And so, yeah.
Is that your next step, Novations?
Yeah, it's something that we've been heavily like pursuing and trying to get in front of, just because um yeah, I mean it's just like a no-brainer. It's the same as like how it was to get our first subject two. We talked about it forever, and then one day we were just like, screw it, we're getting a subject two. And then we never stopped getting subject twos. So
Okay,
uh,
okay.
it's the same thing. Yeah.
So you guys anticipate launching the innovation strategy in one of your next deals?
Yeah, potentially. I mean, if we get a deal through, Hessel that fits is a good candidate, then we're definitely going to try and do it. I mean,
Okay, love it. I mean, the clients within our agency that have started innovations, they're seeing at least twice more conversion, at
mhm,
least 200% more conversion. And that's conservative. Some people are seeing more,
mhm,
300%, 400%. And the reason is simple. I mean, I was talking to one of my clients about this like this week, and I was asking him what business he was in, and he was, oh, I'm in the business of helping sellers sell in a different way than the traditional way which is with a listing agent, right, on the MLS and stuff. And the way that I can do that is if they have something that justifies a lower offer, like a discount, in case that there could be value added to the property. And also, if they want speed, if they value speed over price, then I can also help. And I was like, okay, I hear you out. I understand what you're saying, but also think about how the the investment business have evolved into, like, now I have multiple motivated sellers, right? Majority of the transactions are being done, 85% of the transactions are being done to an end buyer, as opposed to between companies, right? Between a wholesaler and a cash, in a flipper, in a fix and flipper.
mhm,
So if you want to really help more of these people while you solve more problems and make more profit and more revenue to your company, just do it. Just think of yourself as some sort of like consultant, um, home selling consultant, right? Like, we have multiple ways to get across deals, right? To solve your situation, multiple solutions. And now, if you think about your business that way, all you have, what you really have in front of you is um, what you really need in front of you in order to get more deal across the board, across the finish line, is motivated sellers. Like, you don't
mhm,
need someone dying or
mhm,
being distressed in order to be able to help you. And something I always tell my clients is this: like, if you think that the solution is having like people dying, if they don't sell in 2 days, they die,
mhm,
then why don't people get more rich with foreclosure lists,
mhm,
right? Cold calling foreclosure lists. And at the end of the day, it's because selling a home is not the only solution to a foreclosure.
mhm,
You know what I'm saying? So
mhm,
if you have a motivated seller with inbound leads, which is basically what we do through Facebook, now you have someone with the decision, the desire to sell, looking for the best solutions. And wouldn't you want the best solution possible if you were selling your house,
mhm.
right?
Right.
So that's amazing what you guys are doing here. That's good news that you guys are looking into innovations and starting out. It's also, in a sense, it's also, in my experience, it's also more easily like duplicated by
Mhm,
somebody else. that hasn't have these great negotiation skills. So it's easier to also onboard people into your team that
Mhm.
could potentially get novations deals across.
Yeah,
Bro, go
it's
ahead.
funny. It's funny you say that because our new employee who is finishing up training is going to get started on the calls tomorrow.
Wow.
She's brand new, and so she's going to be taking these Hesel leads, and she's going to be pitching Novation. So
Wow.
it's funny because she is brand new, so it'll be easier.
Yeah. One quick negotiation tip: always talk about cash offer, even if you don't make a solid offer, because
Mhm.
people need to understand the different type of options and scenarios they have. And then if after a couple conversations, novations cash offer is not a good option, novation should be a good option. You know what
Mhm.
I'm saying?
Mhm.
Now, I didn't ask you real quick about the deal size. Like, how are the terms looking? Could you please walk me through that?
Yeah, so let me pull it up on my end. Um, let's see. So the deal is it's subject to with 27,000 to the seller. Or I'm sorry. Um, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 27. So it's cash to seller, and then I mean that's pretty much like the offer. The interest rate is 3.75, so it's a pretty good interest rate, and he owes 285. And so for this one, the way we ran it is it would be um it would be a rental. And so it would
Be
work
a
as
rental.
and then it also works as a wrap as well. So it cash flows as a wrap for $825. And then as a rental, it cash flows positive $30 after maintenance and vacancies and management.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. And which option do you guys think is gonna be more enticing? Are you gonna sell it to an investor?
Yeah, we would assign it to an end buyer
Mhm.
or to an investor.
An end buyer. Okay. Okay. And then
And
they
it,
can choose between the wrap and the rental.
right, so the way we would do this one is we would assign it to an investor, right?
Mhm.
And then they choose if they want to wrap it or they want to rent it. But in our experience, um, it's easier for us to dispo property that we see as a potential wrap if it
Mhm.
positive cash flows as a rental as well.
Oh, interesting.
Mhm.
Interesting. So you're gonna use that as a selling point, but most likely the person is gonna go for a wrap.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And what are you guys? I mean, what are you guys anticipating for assigning this deal? Like, you guys
It's
have something
yeah, it's mapped out for a $10,000 assignment.
$10,000 assignment? Beautiful, beautiful. What is your current average assignment right now, guys?
It's 7 to 10.
7 to 10. Okay,
Yeah.
good. But you guys are reaching your. You guys have been doing this for a year, and you guys are reaching your volume of deals per month, right?
Yes, we are. So we ain't like our goal is 7 to 10 for every deal, but I mean
Mhm.
we've closed we closed plenty of deals where our assignments are more than that.
Okay.
Um 15, we've had like a couple 15K assignments, and then we've had like a 23K assignment.
So
Um
your average must be higher than.
it's higher. It's just what we shoot for is like when we run our numbers, it's our offer is tentative of like we need to make 7 to 10, and then we try and work around that so we can help the seller the best. So in this
Okay.
way, we didn't push our assignment to 15 so that we could give the seller a little bit more money in his pocket.
Okay.
Mhm.
This is what I'm gonna say, bro. Anyone listening to this conversation will not have the context of how awesome you guys are building product. You guys come from a background of building product, and you
Mhm.
guys are building something. You guys are setting all of the foundations to build something great, in which you guys can continuously get the like deals across the finish line,
Mhm.
and it's gonna be maximized for volume. And you guys are also building your own CRM product based on what you guys mentioned last time. So I don't know, you guys are setting yourself for success. I see you guys becoming a six figures and multiple six figures company pretty soon. But would you like to add something to it? I mean, that's my perspective from outside, but I don't know if you could potentially give me something about that, like with, and also with the help of Hesel leads, how do you guys see accomplishing that as well?
Yeah, I mean everything, like, and you kind of touched on this, but everything we do, we approach with the mindset of how do we scale this, and is this something that we can, that we don't necessarily need a person to do.
Mhm.
And then everything, all of that is driven by compassion and empathy, and all of that, everything we do there. But yeah, if we're doing something that we can't either automate, or do faster, then we're not going to do it. And so, like, if we're right, the reason we haven't been able, we haven't submitted novation offers, it's not that we can't submit a novation offer. It's
Mhm.
that right now, the way we're currently built out is it would take us way too long to submit a novation offer, whereas we can submit our seller finance cash offers, subject to offers, in minutes. That Hesel lead that we got, from the moment that we spoke to him and he said he was interested, 24 hours later, I had already analyzed and drafted up offers, but it wasn't time for us to pitch that yet because we hadn't built enough rapport. So and in that time we had also submitted, four other offers around that period. So
Wow.
yeah, if it's something that takes too long and we're doing the same thing every single day, then that's a good indicator to us that we need to automate that, or change how we do things. Uh,
Wow.
so yeah, I think.
Well, mark my words here. This is gonna be huge, man. I'm gonna keep monitoring your next successes, and hopefully we can also record those.
Oh
Hey,
yeah.
man. Yeah. One thing I want to say based on what you just said. I mean, you guys decided on novations, so does that mean that you guys think that you guys can automate novations, right? Offers as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, and we
Okay.
we got together yesterday and we figured that we got a plan together,
Mhm.
what needs to happen so that we make novations work for
Okay.
Hessel.
Okay.
And we have a full list of things that we need to work out in the kinks, but with what we've already built, it'll be pretty easy to just copy paste and just change the contract and change
Yeah.
a couple different things. But
Yeah.
yeah.
One thing that I've noticed about innovations is that you may need to add some other steps to the process.
Mhm,
Um, it may require maybe having a transaction, bringing a transactional coordinator sooner. Uh, but then when you do build a process that is solid and consistent, then you can get move a bunch of deals. You can move volume real fast. And also novations, people that do novations, it's not only that they double the conversion, but also the revenue coming from novations can increase 200 to 300% at least.
mhm,
The revenue coming from the innovation deals. Um, and I mean, I guess I was gonna say something else because the average is somewhere between 25K to 30K with novations, still giving the client good money.
oh
I
yeah.
mean, of course, there's always gonna be opportunities when you can, like, out of empathy, you can like give, like, reduce a little bit of your share.
Mhm,
But at the same time, it's more possible to get higher prices because, like, at the end of the day, the seller is agreeing to something and you guys are gonna give them that, give them convenience as well, because they don't
mhm,
have to. I mean, you're gonna work with the very best agents, so the very best agents are gonna give them convenience as well.
right.
They don't have to go through the ups and downs of like selling traditionally, but you guys kind of like control that, and they
Mhm,
don't have to know about the offers. You can tell them about the offers, and they're gonna end up finding out which one was selected. So there is
mhm,
a lot of transparency when you're doing innovation type of deals. But I
mhm,
guess what I'm saying is this: if you get to help a lot of these clients using innovations, you can give them like full retail value and still like find an end user that is willing to pay even more money than you anticipated, and end up making higher profits as well.
mhm.
So that's what justifies building an extra branch of your company, which includes transactional coordinators. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the transactional coordinators can do things like, if you check the secrets of Rich Wonders, one of the things he says is that he gets the very best deal that he can, and then his transactional coordinator is gonna go to a bunch of agents 2, 3, 5, and he's gonna interview them about the specific deal, and he's gonna ask them a question like this: what is the tool, or okay, what is the price and the conditions in which we need to list this property in order for us to sell it in 2 or 3, maximum 2 or 3 weeks?
Mhm.
So with the seller, you don't overpromise. You actually tell them like it's gonna take I don't know, 45 to 90 days, something like that, or 60 to 90 days. But then internally, you're like, okay, let's sell it fast. Let's over deliver to the seller. That does require some extra effort, I'm gonna say, but at the end of the day, that effort is paid out because your guys are doing something in record time that they didn't even expect it. Like people usually when they think listing a property, in their head is like it's gonna take forever, 3 to 6 months. But if
Yeah.
you can like cut that time in like half or a third or even a fourth, right? You guys can be over delivering. You guys can be getting even more assignment, like a higher assignment, and even giving jobs to more people,
Mhm.
and building product also to
Mhm.
justify the extra effort. So just some information out there, putting out there. You guys are visionaries. You guys like building product. You guys have love building systems. And again, like I said, I expect you guys being a really good success case very soon, and I'm gonna monitor your successes, and hopefully we can do some other success calls. So anyone seeing this call, stay tuned because I'm pretty sure we're gonna hear about these guys pretty soon.
Oh yeah. Thank you, Carlos.
Awesome, bro. Um, any other things that what would you say to someone being on the fence of hiring Hesel Media?
What would I be? Okay, that's a good question. Uh, I would say that you need to be ready
Uh-huh.
mentally and not so much like with the systems and everything. I mean, I know that we talked about systems and how it makes our lives easier, but really you just got to be ready because what we notice is that and you know we're guilty of this mindset too, but like it's we don't like to chase shiny things,
Mhm.
right? Because there's so many ways and there's so many ways to make money in real estate that if you don't choose one, you don't make any money, right? And so that's kind of the philosophy we had, but with when you're doing these Facebook, you know, leads and working with Hessel is that you have to remain adaptable because
Okay.
if you want to be able to make it, you know, you want to be able to maximize it and get the most of it is when you get a lead, you got to do everything you can to help that person. And sometimes it's an acquisition strategy you're not too familiar of or with, right? It's getting out of your comfort zone and just fully committing to Hessel. So yeah.
Love that. Thank you so much, man. And do
Yep.
you feel like you've been given the tools that you need?
Yeah, I think so. I think we've been giving more than enough tools needed to at least like get you to start answering phone calls and making offers.
Nice.
That paired with like the sales training and all the other resources, it's like if you have one blocker, there's always someone available to there's always something to help you get past that.
Love
Uh,
it.
yeah, you don't need all the fancy stuff to make it work.
Love it, man. Congratulations again. Thank you for that. And let's keep crushing it, okay?
Oh yeah, thank you.